Gone are the days of only having a chocolate Christmas advent calendar or those felt handmade ones with pockets that your grandparents always had on the wall. In today's market, we have skincare, makeup, tea, alcohol, books, puzzles, branded calendars, and crafting ones. And the prices of these calendars can range dramatically. Now, if you've already got or put on order a crochet advent calendar, then this video is absolutely not saying that buying a crochet advent calendar is wrong or that you shouldn't do it. I am simply looking at a gap here where not everyone is going to necessarily have the budget for them. They might want something a little bit different, a little bit more personalized, and can still support local and small businesses. So this year, I want the crafters, the crocheters, and the knitters to come and listen just a little bit closer. We can make our own advent calendars that support small businesses, are more personalized, more thoughtful, more sustainable, and cater to every single budget. And today I'm going to show you how. I'm going to talk through how to create your own advent calendar with over 35 ideas. And this covers what to include, how to construct it, and some extra reasons as to why this is a great idea and you should be doing it. Now you might be thinking, if I create my own advent calendar, then the surprise element is gone because I know exactly what's in it. For some people, yes, this is a problem. And what I would say to that is you can make a list from this video of the things that you would like in an advent calendar and then pass this on to someone who would gift you something at Christmas time. They can then build this advent calendar for you with your ideas in mind. On a similar vein, you can also build this calendar for a crafty friend or family member. So you can build it to their taste and preferences, and you've got a great Christmas gift. Knitters, cross stitchers, sewers, embroiderers, this applies to you as well. Just tailor the ideas I'm going to go through to your own craft. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. Packaging. There are so many different ways of approaching packaging this advent calendar, and you can literally do whatever you like. Here's a couple of ideas. So you could make your own pouches. If you sew, if you make things out of felt, if you crochet, if you knit, you can make pouches or covers for each individual item. You could also use cardboard, tissue paper, general paper, tin foil, whatever you have lying around, you can wrap these gifts in. Another alternative is that you could buy a cardboard advent calendar, one that is already made up but is empty. If you just Google search this, you will find so many different varieties that you can buy for any budget. Just going onto Etsy, for example, there were so many that were really cheap. My last idea is that you could use an old advent calendar that is empty, that maybe you own, that your parents own, that your friend or family member owns, that they were going to throw out and they don't want anymore. And you can repurpose that for this gift. Again, this calendar is all about personalization. So have a think about how you want to package this if you're making it for someone else, or how maybe you'd want it to be packaged, or if you're not really bothered about the packaging that much. Just make that clear when you're creating this or you're passing on details about it to someone else. Moving on to the bit you've all really been waiting for, and that's the content options. So for the content options, I do have quite a list. Let me know before I start this list in a comment down below, what would you love to open in a crochet advent calendar? What would really get you excited? That way, when I start reading out these lists of ideas, we can see if we've thought of the same things. Quick, go on, leave me a comment. Okay, are you poised at the ready? Do you have your notebook and pen? Let's go. Within your advent calendar, you could include a new crochet hook. This could be one that you've had your eye on for quite a while, maybe a different millimeter size, maybe a different brand that you haven't tried before. Pick one that you've had your eye on and include it in one of the days. Next up is a yarn that you have had your eye on. This could be a skein of yarn, this could be a hank, this could be a mini collection of skeins. You could pick a couple and they could cover a couple of days, or you could pick one that you have really loved and that you've been looking forward to using or trying. We all know how much yarn there is out there, so this is going to be potentially a tricky one to pick just one or a couple. But you could do Christmas themed skeins of yarn. You could do something for the new year, for January, or going into spring, like some floral colors. You know what that person's going to like. You know what you like. make a note. Next up is a pattern that you've saved, you've had your eye on, but you've not bought yet. This can include free patterns that maybe you want to print off and fold up and put in a physical advent calendar, or this could be a digital copy too. Next one is stitch markers. No, I'm not talking about the paperclip looking ones, the generic looking ones. I'm talking about a stitch marker set that is a bit more personalized. I have seen stitch markers in so many different themes. This is a great way to support a local or a small business. I've seen stitch markers in biscuit theme. I've seen them in celestial themes, Christmas themes, and many, many others. Next up is buttons, and I think they're really underrated and forgotten about, but you can find some beautiful buttons for sale. This again is especially great for small or local businesses because you may find some handcrafted buttons as well. The next one is a pair of scissors. Now this might seem very kind of bog standard and not massively exciting, but you can get some beautiful crafting scissors. Some crafting scissors are really ornate and beautiful, and again you can tailor this to your preference or the person that you're making it for. Next up is a little bit more generic, but is absolutely needed, and that is sweets or snacks for crafting time. There's nothing better than curling up on the sofa with a crochet project, a cup of coffee, a hot chocolate, and some snacks. What are your favorites? Add them in. Next up is handmade tags, and these can be as personalized as you want them to be. So there are funny handmade tags that I have seen around. There are more generic ones that kind of say handmade with love or handmade by, and you can add a name, or they just say handmade. I think these are really great for every crocheter because every single crocheter will be making something, and therefore these will definitely get used. Next up is a measuring tape. And kind of along the lines of the scissors, you can find some really beautiful measuring tapes. So my favorite one that I have is this one here that has a little strawberry on it. And I use this all the time. Find the cute measuring tape. One that's going to make you want to do a gauge swatch and measure it. Next up is a crochet project notebook and pen. You can buy these crochet or craft themed on the cover. You can find them. Or you can just get a pretty looking notebook and include it, and this will be their crafting journal. You could be encouraged to record the hook size that you're using, the project that you're working on, how much yarn you used in that project, and then you can continuously reflect back on the projects that you have made across the year, or you can even list in there projects that you want to work on for the upcoming year. Next up is another notion, and it's a row counter. If this benefits you or the individual, then definitely include this because these are budget friendly. Next up is a coffee shop gift card, and you could go a little bit more branded if you wanted to, but you can also get gift cards from your local coffee shops. If you or the person you're making this for loves to go out and sit in a coffee shop and craft, even with a group of friends, this is a great idea. Next up is a little bit of a bigger item, but I think is still great, and that is a crochet pattern book. In the past year alone, so many genius crochet books have been released. There are so many beautiful patterns, and again, you can tailor the book choice to yourself or the person you're making this for. Along a similar line, you could get these pattern card boxes that I have seen. These include charts for making things like granny squares or other patterns. Another voucher idea, you could include a small voucher for a craft store or a wool shop. Again, you could pick something like Wool Warehouse or Love Crafts, or one that is local to you and support a local business. The next idea is a project bag, which can be as big or as small as you like. If you're building this for somebody else, you could even crochet them a project bag and include it. This could be in the form of a tote bag or a very small handmade bag, kind of like this one here, or you could seek out an actual project bag that has holes for yarn. Depending on the level of crocheter that you are building this for, including yourself, you could include a crochet kit. Now, I'm not just talking about the beginner crochet kits, which would be lovely as a gift. There are more advanced, more intriguing, more personalized crochet boxes out there now. There's crochet kits for shawls, for jumpers, for hats, for scarves and gloves. You could find one that you really love and include it in the advent. Similarly, for one of the days, you could build a crochet kit yourself. You could put a hook, a skein of yarn and a pattern all together in one of the days, and you've got a little kit yourself. The next idea is something that has gained popularity immensely over the past year, and it is these safety eyes, these hand-painted safety eyes to be specific. You can buy these from small businesses on Etsy or other websites, and they look beautiful. These are particularly great for someone who makes a lot of amigurumi, big amigurumi or plushy type amigurumis. You can get these in a real range of colours and sizes to cater for anyone and any budget. Another idea is to include some keychain rings. These are a bit more on the practical side, in that opening a bag of keychain rings might not necessarily be the most exciting, but if you know that this person makes a lot of keychains or wants to branch into that area of crafting, then this is a great idea. The next idea is a hook pouch. If you have your crochet hooks lying around and you keep losing them, a hook pouch is a great idea. You can find them in so many different designs. You could even crochet one yourself for someone you're gifting this to. Along the coffee shop theme, you could include a crafty themed mug with a sachet of coffee or a tea bag in. Again, there's lots of these floating around, or you could even create your own mug and put it in one of the days. If you're making this advent calendar for somebody else, why not crochet some small items and include them? I've mentioned some things before, but you could make some small amigurumi or a couple of keychains and add them in to the days. If you know someone that works a lot with wool, merino, hand-dyed yarn, then a small bottle of wool wash will really come in handy for that person. Again, these can be tailored to a budget because you can get some relatively inexpensive wool washes, and then there are some more luxury ones on the market as well. With washing things in mind, you could also get a set of blocking pins. Not necessarily the most exciting thing, I know, but you can find some really beautiful looking pins out there in a multitude of colors. Next up is a yarn holder or winder. These used to look pretty boring, but now you can get them in all different styles. I have one that's a lily pad with a flower on top, and it makes me want to use it every time I see it. You can find these in lots of different designs when you search online. Next idea is a good old faithful, and it is a pom-pom maker. These are so inexpensive, and you can even create them yourself with cardboard or a fork, although that might not necessarily be as exciting to open, but everyone always needs a pom-pom. Us crafters work with our hands every day. So what better to include than a hand cream to repair them? Again, you can be as luxury or as budget friendly as you want to be with a hand cream purchase. You can even get ones that have a keychain attached so that they can be added to your keys. This one is leaning a little bit more towards knitters, but you can get some stitch stoppers. You could get some needle stoppers as well. There's lots of cute different designs for these, but they will help to stop your needles falling out. If you have lots of charity shops in your area, there is no reason why you can't go in and look for some crafting gifts there as well. Why not have a look for some thrifted charity patterns or some yarn? You can find some beautiful things in charity shops. Quite a lot of them in the UK now are selling yarn. They're not secondhand yarn, but all of the proceeds still go to charity. And every time I go into a charity shop in the UK, I always see a basket full of patterns just waiting to be bought. Another idea that you can include is a box of colour swatches. You can pick these up from paint stores, but you can also buy some more professional looking ones, and these will help create colour palettes for your crochet items. These are great for blanket makers or jumper makers, something a little bit bigger where someone's having to plan a color palette. And then along similar lines, you could also buy some yarn cards. I have some wooden ones of these, and they're great because you are keeping track of the colors that you are using in a project. If you like to make things over the course of a year, like a temperature blanket, then this is great to keep track of the yarn that you have. Or if you just want to see the colours that you have in your stash before making a project, these are also great for that. If you like tapestry crochet or you know someone that does, then the next two ideas are for you. You could get a set of flat bobbins for tapestry, and I've seen people use these by wrapping the yarn around them so that they're easier to move when you're working across the row. These are way less cumbersome than having like 5 balls of yarn hanging behind the tapestry. Along similar lines, you could buy some grid paper. If you or someone you know likes to design their own tapestry, this is a really like physical object to have in design. There are a lot of sites and digital tools that you can use to create tapestry patterns, but what's wrong with grid paper and a pencil? It works the exact same. And we're on to my last idea already. And I've left this one to the end because you could include this in day 25, or if you're doing a 12-day advent calendar, you could include this at the final day. And it is a voucher for a crochet magazine subscription. Now, I know these might be a little bit more pricey, so you don't have to include them, but it could also just be a receipt for one crochet magazine that you have ordered them that is coming in the post. Or you could even purchase a digital magazine and have that delivered to them on the day that they're due to open it. That's all my ideas. Let me know if I've missed anything. If those ideas aren't enough to get you feeling crafty and festive, let me tell you why building an advent calendar for yourself or a loved one is a great idea. You can support the businesses that you want to by buying local or buying from where you want to. You can push your own creativity or that of a friend by including something new that maybe they've never seen before or tried before. You are being crafty by building this advent calendar yourself. This is a much more sustainable advent calendar because you are personalizing every single item, and therefore you're going to use what's inside, so it's way less waste, if any. You can reuse the advent calendar packaging time and time again, depending on how you're building it, of course. But if you're using a box or you're crocheting the pouches, they're reusable. You've taken the time to build this for yourself or for a loved one, and you know they're going to love it. What's more reason than that? And lastly, as I've said before, you can cater this to any budget. Did you have a favorite idea? What did you think of this concept? I'm intrigued to know. Hey, if you're new here, please subscribe. It's absolutely free and you'd be joining the greatest crafting community that we've already built here. I've got lots of great videos coming up and a back catalogue that you can go through of some great ideas. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for being here. I cannot tell you what your support means to me. Keep crocheting, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.